Hello, I'm Jeff Andersen, Director of the Florence Griswold Museum, and I'm pleased to talk about a work of art by John Frazee, a bust of George Griswold that's part of our current exhibition, 1040, Collecting American Art at the Florence Griswold Museum. This neoclassical bust is an absolutely wonderful example of American sculpture by John Frazee, who was important for many reasons because he was the very first American sculptor to work in marble without having the benefit of having gone to study in Italy. He came from a very modest background, was born and raised in New Jersey, and worked his way up the ranks as a stonecutter in New York, eventually becoming a prominent American neoclassical sculptor. Let me just share a little bit about the donor, the artist, and the subject. The donor of this sculpture was the former Connecticut Governor John Davis Lodge. This was a work that came during my first year here at the museum in 1976. And it was a big deal because, first of all, this John Davis Lodge was a very patrician gentleman, the brother of Henry Cabot Lodge, who had been a vice presidential candidate, and he was a very prominent Connecticut citizen. And so we were thrilled to have this work come to the museum for its collection. But we were also intrigued because it had been attributed to John Frazee, and we didn't know for sure whether that attribution was accurate. And so, you know, when something like this comes to a museum, the importance of research comes to the fore. And so we were assisted by the art historians William Gertz and Frederick Voss, who was able to document that indeed it had been done by the artist John Frazee in the early 1840s. And so that was exciting. It then went to the National Portrait Gallery, a Smithsonian Institution Museum in Washington, D.C. in 1986 as a part of a retrospective on Frazee. So let me just share a little bit about the subject, George Griswold. George Griswold was born in Lyme in the late 18th century, but settled in New York to establish a shipping and mercantile firm called N.L.&G.G. Griswold. And this was hugely successful. They were involved in the China trade, and they were known as, by their competitors, the N.L.&G.G. translated into the no loss and great gain Griswolds.